My next question is to Ms. Sonal, and I would request you if you could share some of your views regarding structuring of, I mean, various steps that needs to be taken to restructure early childhood care and education, and with a focus on pedagogical or curricular interventions
Sure.
in light of the new education policy.
Hmm. So, first of all, I would like to convey that there's some of the words still in my head when Mr. Mole in the morning, just before this, he was talking. He was talking more about things have been defined, the processes have been laid down, but the main key lies in the implementation. So that's the point I would like to pick up. And then Manjeet right now saying that there is a lot we have been doing in our school structures and we are open to kind of sharing and everything. So I believe Himanshuji, the only way out to structure the implementation, where I feel this is the only success where it lies, anything which is laid down and then when it is carried down. So when you develop the process of bringing that outcome, what is there in the head of say policymakers or the educators who've been trying to kind of design the education for long 20 years now. I can see Manjeet talking and I could see the huge experiences coming from Rajni on board, and Mr. Gupta is there, and I know of all of them personally for quite a long time, and I know from vast experiences they're coming, they're daily there with the children inside the classrooms, they're living that life each day. But my question is, who is inviting them to be a part of the designing committee to go ahead with the implementation of this policy? So where the policy is coming from, I don't know. Who were the people, who were the key people who kind of came up with this policy, I don't know. But I would definitely appreciate that, thank God, this time the inclusion of early childhood education as a priority segment in 2020 NEP is there, which kind of picks India from that age old cliche thought of that early childhood education is not important in our country. Every second person you meet Americans, you meet people coming from UK. I travel a lot, I see, I would see they downlook Indians when it comes to early childhood care and education. So I'm proud this time that NEP 2020 has actually brought this ECCE with the bold letters in the policy. That's a great job, everyone is going to applaud for that. But my next thing is, being a true Indian, and being an educator, you kind of go to the next stage. Okay, the policy is there, everything is laid down. Now what next? We are geared up people. So I could see that there is lack of teachers training in our country. The teachers process of recruitment You know, if you go deeper into each and every school's history, you would see the very random ways of recruiting educators in many schools that has to be rebuilt, relooked, because everything is connected to the people, the teacher, the loving person who is around the children and implementing these things, you know, be it numeracy, be it literacy, be it language, be it writing, reading, whatever coming their way, everything has to be taken care of by the educator and the parents. So these are two most important stakeholders when it comes to, you know, implementation or making anything successful, basically. So my point is that where are those laid down? And very rightly, Mr. Mole said that four ministries coming together and working on ECCE, then I tell you, I'm sorry to say, even a small NGO, if it is working with multiple people, you're after their life for the sanctions you don't get for years. How come four ministries and five ministries are going to work together for one early childhood care and education? I would propose there should be a separate ministry altogether. If the importance has been given to early childhood education, it is not only on papers. It should be that there is a well thought, well scrutinized committee formed by people like probably Manjeet, Rajni, and myself too. I vote myself too. I've been into it for long 25 years. Then why are we not in the picture? Because we are the ones who could actually train teachers. We are the ones we can go deep into it. Rajni was mentioning about multiple intelligence, and I think that is one point. It is no more a theory, it is the way of living. You, me, each one of us, we are blessed having those intelligences right from birth, and we are not even aware of it. That's an irony of our system. Our children are the rich, you know, the dynamite of all these intelligences together, but they're taught in a particular one single way. A child who has been taught to write has to pick up a pencil and write. Why not multiple ways of letting the child learn to write, taking care of what is the child's way of learning, what is the child's priority of doing a particular thing. And then ultimately, the system starts tagging the children right from the early years, from 0 to 8. Please go down. I request everyone, don't be limited to your own schools. Go visit the schools, go to Anganwadis, go to the standalone schools, go to the chain schools, visit them, meet their teachers. You would see that children are treated like animals, and that breaks my heart. So my point for NEP is not just being overwhelmed. Okay, now 2020 NEP is going to do something. But the thing is now the time to get up. This NEP will not do anything if implementation is not good. It's not going to work. It'll be still limited to that, and there'll be a new draft, then a new draft, then a new draft, and the process will go on. So my message and takeaway from this policy is, let's talk about um, importance of early childhood education. When they talk about that the brain architecture develops 85% by a particular age, okay, that's all theoretical. Everybody knows, even a child knows today that the brain develops by a particular age. But then why are we then talking about setting up a 3 to 4 months module of school preparedness at the age of 5? The NAP talks about that as well.
Yeah.
Now, if the outcome is that, and the beginning is about the brain architecture, there is a gap. This is a mismatch. Why are we talking about preparedness? Why are we talking about transitions? I know more than 70% of the Indian population comes from, like, children come from Anganwadis and lower middle income groups and all, where the parents are not that educated. So we have to lay down a structure. I understand that. But then again, the outcome is quite set towards something which will lay down, you know, the steps formulation towards the completion of that outcome. And each and every teacher will be the same then. Each and every school will be the same then. On the top of that, the pressure coming from the parents would be there. Oh my God, in your school, the child has studied for a year and a half, and my child cannot write. My child has to get into grade 1. This pressure comes from the parents to the educators, because the policy talks about it. The child has to be ready. Now, my point is that I would love to research more on it and kind of challenge this point. Why a child has to be ready for the next stage always? Why can't they be themselves? When we talk about early childhood care and education, there's a good time of 0 to 8 years. Why can't they be themselves and then take over all by themselves? I mean, Sada Patel is one of those examples, like where it used to be Hindi medium till grade 4 or 5. And their parents were not complaining that my child is not learning English in your school. Why Hindi? You would see one of the best scholars there, merit list holders there, the ones who talk in English perfectly. So there is no correlation of setting up things at a particular age so that they can do that. Where I believe is, if children are left to be themselves in an enriched environment in a better way, and we are able to understand the needs of a child, the child take over all by herself. So this has to get into the head of policymakers and even the educators in each and every setting. These are my thoughts on the new policy.
Thank you.